social protection. It's our prayer that you are in safe and good hands. But we know that you are likely to work in a very difficult environment. You are cool-headed. Your minister doesn't appear to me sharing the same disposition with you. Will you assure us that you would ensure, since she's not here, I'm talking to the nominee. It's your word. If you want, give a word. This nominee, I can vouch for her coolness, cool head. And she's going to work in an environment where I want to guarantee that she's in safe hands and that she can walk out of troubled waters, even in disagreement. Can you assure us that you work with your minister to deliver the president's agenda of empowering women?
Mr. Chairman, in intercultural fluency, which is a course by the grace of God I offered at British Council, two people having different temperament doesn't mean they can't work together. And most of the time, you realize that one strength becomes the other person's weakness, and the reverse is true. I assure you, per my attitude and behavior, and by the grace of God, you work marvelously well. And if you care to know, my minister, she appreciates me, she respects me, she cares for me. So,
is that not mutual? You don't appreciate her, you don't respect her. Is it not mutual?
You see, sometimes, Mr. Chairman, we have the way we see people and we understand them. But in life, those of us who have the grace to learn intercultural fluency, you need to understand somebody. And when the understanding that the respect is there, automatically, by Newton's third law of motion, to every action, there is a reaction.
Newton's law of reaction. I hope so. No. Generally, science and human behavior, they don't often go together. But I like your spirit, so let's go on.
Chairman, we can only pray that she is a science person. You have our prayers that your chemistry gels at the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. So, women, I'm particular about microcredit. And Chairman, I say this out of respect to our departed colleague, where our sister took from, the Honorable J.B. Danka. Very enterprising, industrious member of Parliament, committed to the private sector development of this country. What will you do to assist your minister, to assist women?
Fundamentally, people think that women always need money to trade, without knowing their interests and their capabilities. Women need to be reassured. And as a teacher and a biology teacher for that matter, it has always been my interest to psych women to know that they can do much more than they think they can do. And once the women are psyched and you know their interest, when you seek for assistance for them, it will work. But if you don't, and to counsel them and even psych them that there's no small money you need to sell as a granite, but you can do much more than you think you can do. Once you do that, women will sit up and do much more better than what we think every woman had to learn a trade or sell. So I'm sure with that capability, I will assist my minister, who is very passionate about issues of women, to get the women well poised and psyched, so that a little assistance given to them this time, by the grace of God, we shall make a lot of exploit.
You were a house mistress. Coming across, you appreciated the school system becoming an agent of socialization with weaker structures of the family system. What about counseling did you come across that many Ghanaian young people lack whilst they are in school, and what will you do to improve that?
Our family systems have broken down. And because they have broken down, and parents are also chasing money to make those same children comfortable. So it's important that we develop a system which, by the grace of God, it's one of the children policy in the ministry. That is the policy of children and family welfare. This policy this time, it's empowering the opinion leaders, the chiefs, and the community as a whole, as well as the churches, to take key interest in raising our children so that it wouldn't become the responsibility of only the parents, but the chiefs are part, the queen mothers, as well as the churches. So where there is a genuine need, even if it's socialization, some children just need attention because parents are not there. The churches and the queen mothers, we cycle them, having workshops with them. The ministry is having workshops with them to take up that responsibility, to make sure that the children are not left alone, where family systems are broken down or parents are chasing money to make them comfortable.
What will you do for the safeguards of the environment? A major campaign on this subject, and as MP from that area, sustaining the environment for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fortunately, my constituency is one of the few in the eastern region without galamsey. However, talking about environmental degradation, it's a problem we all need to tackle. I have a passion for litter management, special passion for litter management. And wherever I go, I try to educate people. For instance, if I'm the one who opened this bottle, I would have taken the little plastic, fold it and push it here, so that that small litter, which flies all over every place, wouldn't be there. And I always educate people when I get there. Again, on my own small way, I've been educating people about drinking of sachet water. When you drink sachet water, you empty it, you fold it just like our mothers were folding their scarf, triangle. You refold again, you tie it, you can put it in your pocket or put it in your handbag. And as you manage the plastics.
But not wear it as a scarf. To litter.
No, please, Mr. Chairman. So that is my simplest way. And let me add this. If you come to my house in Kukrentume, I have a dustbin and I have a big pear tree. All degradable litter goes under my pear tree as compost, and the non-degradable will get into the dustbin for the refuse collector to do that. Thank you.
Congratulations, Honorable Deputy Minister nominee.
Thank you very much, dear.
Honorable, I have one question for you, and that is, if you could tell this committee and Ghanaian the true state of school feeding program, and then the immediate plans that you have to, in support of your minister, to put it on track.
If you talk of the state of the school feeding, I would say that so far as political dispensation is concerned, in time and space, it's at a wonderful, the best state in that this is the period that there has been change of power, and the women officially have not been thrown out of their place of contract, even though there have been some few cases where no one has asked anyone to do that. But for this time, we have not thrown anyone away. They have a contract of 1 year. After all, they are all Ghanaians, and we making sure that they do their work, even though the program owes them a lot. But we're making plans to pay them. They are all Ghanaians, they are all women, and they all have children. So it is the business of the Gender, Children, and Social Protection Ministry.
The first question will be what your views are. And I'm coming under the social protection aspect of your work. The phenomenon of Kayaye. Shouldn't we be phasing out that phenomenon, empowering the girls, engaging in skills training, and also making sure that we develop where they come from, especially the 3 northern regions, so that that whole phenomenon, which I think that borders on indignity and which is human rights abuse, shouldn't your ministry be opting for a more long-term strategy instead of the impression which has now been created that you are removing the market tolls 50 pesos a day, so golden boom, every young girl in the north should come and participate and enjoy the golden boom of Kayaye. What's your view about this matter?
For Kayayes, we have long-term plan and we have medium and short-term. For the medium and long-term, the MPP's manifesto and the budget statement on the industrialization of all communities, 1 district, 1 factory, 1 village, 1 dam per our manifesto will ensure that there will be water available for cultivation. And once we are successful with the 1 district, 1 factories, they will have work to do so that they wouldn't descend down south for this business that no one wishes that a sister should involve in this. Again, when we have all these programs, we also have a challenge that the ministry is working tirelessly at that, early child marriage. Some of them, they run down here because they are young and some old man, because of his money, want to marry them. So as we also working on the project against early child marriage with advocacy and some funding that we're seeking from donors, we're sure that we'll be able to prevent them from coming down south. Meanwhile, those who are already here, just a handful of them have gone through some skill training. Those who went for catering are still on the training. And VRA Clubhouse has even requested for about 6 of these young ladies who were Kayayes, and they are learning catering. So we're sure that as we do that, we gradually take them off our streets. The question is, so when you go to markets, what happens? We're also trying to seek funding. My minister and the ministry, and I've been well briefed, seek funding to gradually modernize our markets, especially the large ones, so that you pick your trolley, you buy all that you want to buy, you push it along wonderfully, and there'll be nobody needed to carry any load on her head.
Impressed with your response. My second question is still within the social protection and human rights space. There was an incident recently, the Mawako fast food incident, and many Ghanaians are outraged, rightly so, the way some expatriates treat Ghanaian workers. How do you intend to collaborate with the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations in supporting your minister to guarantee the rights of Ghanaian workers and to be more drastic in terms of dealing with those expats who come here and treat Ghanaians, indigenous locals, anyhow they want, and think that they can get away with it? What would be your suggestions, your advice to your minister in addressing that challenge which we are confronted with?
Talking about this ill treatment, the Mawako issue was just one that, because of its nature, it was all over the media. But Ghanaians are going through a lot of more handling in the hands of these expatriates because Ghanaians are not empowered to establish their own businesses. And also, we have not psyched ourselves to set up our own business, especially joint ventures. So, together with my minister, we will collaborate with that of the Labor and Employment, as well as the Finance Ministry, and that of, let me add, Trade, so that we have workshops for indigenous Ghanaians, and we try to set up a number of businesses. In addition to that, we need to empower our people. Education is key, very key, because when you're empowered, then you think of your right. Let me give you a scenario. A woman who is not working, every morning the husband had to give her BTs. If she dare reports to the DOPSU, and the family member says that we want to break the marriage, this same woman will run and go and beg, because there's no social systems to make sure that once the man is weaned off, she's going to be taken care of. So we need to empower our people. And I'm glad that the President Akufo-Addo's government has, or is going to reinstitute the free SHS, which will ensure that even if someone will drop out, that will be after secondary education, where you know what is your right and you have a little decent employment or even some entrepreneurial skills to fend for yourself.
Child trafficking. And we are told that the following persons have been arrested for child trafficking. But because people don't see the punishment attached, it encourages people to continue with the acts. Will you assure us that anytime there's child trafficking, the punishment will be put to bed so that everybody will see that there are serious punitive measures so that people will be deterred from doing child trafficking?
I'm a woman, and I know no woman will get pregnant for 9 months, go through labor, and say that I want to sell my child. The most important thing is the women are not empowered and they are not assisted. Again, society has let women feel that they need a man by all means, no matter the status of the man. So they tend to have too many affairs with too many men, to have too many children. So if I have a lot and I don't have what I'll eat, why not? But if the women are empowered with a little financial support and a little education, in all our statutes, we have various forms of assistance and scholarships for females who want to go through education. I will get in touch with my minister, with my background as a teacher, to get to all the donors and all systems to make sure that we assist our people to go through school, especially the females. Once the female is a little educated, she knows the value of life, she will take care of our children, and we wouldn't even have anyone to traffic. And for the issue of the offenders are not punished accordingly, I will talk to my minister. For our ministry, it's mainly for collaboration. We are for all ministry. We need to collaborate with all ministries. So we collaborate with the AG's office, and then you see how well we could tackle that legal issue. But I think that once the women are well educated, informed, and supported to be empowered, no one will offer the child for sale or for trafficking.
So you combine science and issues of gender to make a mark in that ministry. So I have only one question for you. Your minister was reported to have said that young people, young ladies should not wear short skirts or mini skirts to avoid being raped. What is your view about women and what they wear and rape?
The Bible says that evil begins with the eye, goes down to the mind, and descends to the heart. And as the African writer says, when the heart decides, no amount of words could reverse what the heart decides. So my minister, being the minister for gender, she's the mother of the country. For gender ministry, whether gender means males and females. So yes, so it is a ministry for everybody.
I don't remember, since you came here, how many sentences about men have you uttered?
Because those who are not weak and vulnerable, you need not protect them. But in truly speaking...
So gender is really about women. It's not about men.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, the Minister for Gender technically is the mother of the nation. So, she gets emotional and concerned about certain occurrences or certain patterns. Nowadays, our children don't go to farm because we don't even have the farm to send them. So to be honest with you, when you see a young lady from the knee to the heel, not even a single scar, and once the eyes could see beautiful things, what do? You pursue. So as much as possible, reduce the exposure. That's all.
Come in. Chairman, we can't leave it like this. We're talking here also about human rights. I have a right to wear whatever I feel I should wear. You've given us a moral argument, which is good, but the human rights aspect is also there. So before statements are made, it's important that our leaders, ministers, weigh the circumstances very well, weigh the arguments very well before they come out with pronouncement, because they are taken seriously. And we, the human rights advocates, are also saying that I have a right to wear trousers, I have a right to wear short skirts, and that is my right. Nobody can take it away from me. So when you go there, it is your responsibility to sit with your minister so that you can think through some of these issues before pronouncements are made.
One thing I'll say is, let the human rights advocates also let all of us feel that where your freedom ends begins somebody's nose. Thank you.
Take anything by force. Anything, not money. If you can't take my money by force, you can't take my shirt by force, you can't take any part of my body by force. So if you want to pursue, sharpen your tongue. That's all. Or fill your pocket. It's either of the two.